there, you can see toes kind of dug. Came up on this ridge, stepped right there, to the left, stepped right here, to the right. I think we jumped over right there. That's a print. It's kind of hard to see from here.
Ride with me tonight is Shane Church, an adventure-seeking graphic designer who's in the Bigfoot investigating business. And baby, business is a booming. One of the co-founders of the Southern Bigfoot Alliance, Shane has helped them grow to over 2,600 members. They have made huge strides in the evidence department over the last 3 years, and they are a great bunch of people to work with. So crack open a brew and pull up a seat. Join me next as we go Squatch talking on The Big Show. And welcome to The Big Show, guys. Tonight I got riding shotgun Shane Church, and you heard on the opening, he's one of the founders of the SBA, which is the Southern Bigfoot Alliance. And they also have the Southern Bigfoot Alliance Investigations. And also he does church art. So he had a big hand in doing the Uncle Cletus. Appreciate that, big guy.
Yeah, it was good.
So for folks that don't know, you learned a little bit about Shane on the opening. And tonight we're going to talk about Squatch Creek. And it's pretty much going to let him tell his tale and how they got these imprints and where they found them, and we'll just go ahead and let you go from here, man, and we'll listen.
Okay, so let's start back in spring of 2018. So, we made this group just to focus on the South, and within that, you kind of like start investigating, YouTube, other Facebook pages. You got to get into the mix of this culture because there's tons of people into this. So how we found Squatch Creek was not how you would think, because Brian was actually on a mushroom page. So it was spring and morel mushrooms were, growing in bloom, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
So a young hunter posted a picture of their footprint next to a huge footprint that had to have been like an inch into the Oklahoma red sand. Right. I mean, this stuff is not just something you can just and leave a big impression. He private messaged this person, got to meet them. The next day, him and Tim Autry made it out there and casted 2 beautiful tracks. What was great about those 2 beautiful tracks was the next day when I went out there, we started looking at those 2 tracks. Of course, they already pulled them, so it was just pulled mud. But exactly in between that left and right print, up above was a fresh green branch break. So we measured it. Brian caught it. He's like, what's that? I was like, let's measure it. I don't know if you ever try to break a green branch, like something like this big around.
Oh yeah.
You're not breaking it. And this thing was snapped.
Wow.
At 8 foot 10 inches off the ground.
Okay.
So the tracks are 16 inches. So it was a 16-inch track lever, 8 foot 10 inches, maybe. We spent the better part of 6 hours out there that day. Ended up measuring the stride, and as we looked up the dirt road, because it came down a dirt road, got to the bridge. Now there is traffic that comes through there here and there, because there's a handful of people that live out there.
Right.
And I'm talking about it's the same people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if it was walking down, the dirt road, easy access, just like a pipeline or anything else like that. Car was coming, stepped off the bridge, and then went off into the tree line right there, because it's thick, you can't see nothing.
Right.
So we started looking at this road. Well, there was like 16-inch impressions, not in, but like just where it was just, you know, through the gravel road, and the same stride. So we followed that up the road. And then to the right, where it curves around, there was a huge indentation where it looked like a hill hit the bank and just went into the road. So then we headed into the woods, and we kept finding the impressions. You find the same size impressions, the same stride, and we made it all the way to a barbed wire fence, which was private property. And you can see where a print was just on our side of the barbed wire fence, almost like it was like a hit pivot kind of move, like kind of hopping over not hopping, but stepping over a fence. If a barbed wire fence was small enough for us as humans to kind of, step over. So that area became Squatch Creek right away. We were floored. That day before that, when Brian and Tim went out there, Brian pulled 2 hairs out of a track. One he kept, one he sent to Jeff Meldrum. He is the professor at the anthropology at the Idaho State University.
Okay.
Still haven't heard anything from this guy.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure he gets hit. He's renowned. So he's been on Monster Quest. He's been on everything.
Sure.
And I'm sure he's got hairs just flying at him, which is okay.
Right.
So after that was about April 2018, and we started checking this place. We started checking it. We planned a trip in June. So June 2018, we planned a trip. Kendall Bray and I got out there about 45 minutes before Brian did. We hit Squatch Creek. That's what we're calling it, Squatch Creek,
right.
The creek. We walked right by a track. Didn't even know it was there.
Oh, wow.
Because lighting can be so deceiving. Okay, so 45 minutes later, when Brian shows up, the sun's changed. And we're walking the creek again, and Brian goes, "What's that?" And we look at it, and we're like, "Nah, no way." We get the plaster out. We pour it. It dries. We pull it. It's a track. It's not the 16-inch track that we were casting before. This one's 20.
What?
20.
Wow.
In fact, you want me to get it real quick?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to see it.
Let me get it. It's a big boy.
Oh, wow.
So what's unique about this track? Good Lord. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a deer print right here.
Sure.
There's one right here. And there's one up here by the toe. And at first I was like, this, maybe this thing's foot has something wrong with its toe, until we pulled the track. And I was like, no, that's a deer print. There's 3 of them. And if you think about a deer, they kind of stagger and bend down to drink out of a creek or water. You can Google it all day.
Right.
Deer stances, drinking out of water. And we were like, holy mac. So the 16-inch, 8-foot, 10-inch entity is now we have a 20-inch track. How big is that? I don't know.
Well, I know this. I wear a size 15, and I was looking at what you just held up, and that had to be at least 2.5 times, if not more, wider than my foot. Not only the length, but the width on that that's got to be almost 12 or 13 foot minimum, you would think, of a creature that would house that size of a foot.
And then you think, how in the hell can this thing just get around people or stay elusive? Right. Man, maybe years and years and years of knowledge,
Yeah, blending in. And it knows its environment. We all, That's one thing in the Bigfoot field, cryptids. When it comes to Sasquatch, there's a lot of theories out there, I know. And, you know, some people believe, which I don't buy into it, that they can traverse dimensions. That's why we never see them. Through my studies, and my studies are strictly book research. I've never done anything in the field. But what I've read, it almost, to me, and this is just my feelings, they could be tied into the half-breeds, the half-breeds, or the Nephilim. That's kind of where I take it when I look at it.
Nephilim, yeah, totally. I can see that.
But, you know, just because of their sheer size. And then you look back at it, Native Americans, they speak of not only these hairy type creatures, they don't, you know, Sasquatch is obviously Indian, the word. And it's throughout their mythos, their mythology, the Cherokee, the Seminole, every tribe has its own version of Squatch, of what he did. And, you know, he would come down and pillage, and then not only that, giants as well, red-haired giants. So I don't know, it's hard to say, but what you have in your hands is amazing, brother. And with that said, it was that pretty much in the same vicinity?
It was right by where the 16-inch tracks were casted just months before.
Okay. Amazing.
Okay, so every month we go out there.
Okay.
And we got nothing from June to December. We got nothing at all. So we're like, okay, we've got one that leaves 16, one that leaves 20. Why are they going through here? I don't know. So January comes around, January 18th, exactly. We're like, we're going out there, we're camping, we're bringing everybody, and we're going to split up. We're going to do it big. Bill, Mr. B, he gets out there a day early and sends us a picture with his wallet next to a 20-inch track. And he's like, you need to get out here like it was yesterday. And we did. We got out there.
Sure.
That trip right there was there was 11 tracks in all. 11. Wow. 11.
That's a lot.
Bill casted a 16-inch track, which is just beautiful, because on the bottom you can see like there's a flexor tendon, kind of like what we have in our toes.
Sure.
That's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to fake something like that.
Yeah.
There was two 16-inch tracks. He got one, and the other one was just kind of like a partial indentation up on the bank. So we're like, okay, the 16-inch track lever's here, but so was the 20-inch. The 20-inch left, let's see, 9 more tracks.
Wow.
And we're like, so are they traveling together? The 20-inch tracks went off the bridge, stepped once, went up on the bank, went across, came down, did a stutter step, and then went over the creek. So what was interesting about that to me was, I mean, it could have just stayed on the bank. Are they that intelligent enough to maybe leave a track, get up on the bank? Oh, I'm leaving tracks. Maybe get up on the bank and do something else. Right. But why I think that's a stutter step is because the two tracks were so close together, and then the bank on the other side. I've got those tracks with me. I'll show them to you here in a second. Sweet. But I took my own shoes off. I weigh 240. Man, I couldn't leave no dents in that Red River, Oklahoma clay sand stuff they got going on up there. There's no way. And then in the bank, So here's one of the stutter steps. So it's January 18th out in Oklahoma. It's cold.
Oh yeah.
So the plaster was not setting up great. And specifically on this one right here, I'm fixing to show you, we actually built a fire next to it, and we're adding coals on top of the plaster just to help it warm.
Wow.
And it actually broke I mean, I've got it in 2 pieces, and you can see where there's a missing piece.
Mhm.
But I mean, look at the toes on that thing.
That is amazing, brother.
Look at that.
Wow. You
There's
see
the
this?
heel.
Yeah. Fans, you don't get to see this every day. This is amazing.
This is outstanding. When I hosed, so when I brought this home, I put it in front of a space heater for like a week. It's hard as a rock.
Right.
But it's so light. I don't know if it has to do with the weather or what when we casted it. But when I sprayed this baby off, the hairs on the back of my neck rose up because,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at you can really see the detail.
Yeah.
The toes.
That's amazing, brother.
So this is one of the stutter steps.
Okay.
The other one, we try to lift up. It just totally disintegrated into, it looked like feta cheese.
Oh, wow.
We let it sit all night. But the one from the bank, I'm going to pull this down a little bit, because this is the most outstanding, beautiful track ever, because right here is where the big toe starts. And it goes through the mud all the way up here. There's different segments.
Okay. Yeah.
And it does that for every toe. But right here, see this right here?
Mhm.
This is the initial heel hit.
Mhm.
So where the big toe hit is over there on the low part of it, and it hit once. It's been said that these things have a mid-tarsal hinge or a mid-tarsal break, that instead of like our feet, their feet break like chimps, like primates. This track kind of supports that. Here's the heel print, and then that's it. It's just initial, and it pops up, and then the rest of the toes go all the way through the mud.
Right. Yeah. I see that.
So it totally supports that. Totally. I mean, this video right here we're doing, this shows this thing no justice.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It is, that's the most information I've ever seen from a track, ever.
Right, and that's why I wanted you on tonight to talk about not only these, Squatch Creek tracks, but the one that hit the bank specifically, because like you said, that right there, that cast alone is not doing justice. I'm sure if we were there live with you, but that answers so many different questions, that cast right there.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I'm not lying.
And
that's mid-tarsal hinge. That's, like I said, I was barefooted. I couldn't put a dent in the mud. And that's a good 6 inches into the bank. No problem.
Yeah.
And you can see where the toes, and as the toes move, they kind of do this and kind of go through the mud, and it gets its footing. And then there was another impression up there, but it was just full of leaves, sticks, but it was there. And it's like, why are these things going through here? And I'm floored. We're still not done with that area. We've actually found area further away from this one, but it's showing signs of the same entities walking through.
Now, this spot, and I'm not trying to ask for any specific locations, but you were in Oklahoma or Texas?
Okay. Oklahoma.
I
live in Texas, but as I tell everybody, my camping gear hangs in Oklahoma, always. I hear you. I can't get away from the place.
I hear you. Man, that is amazing, brother. And I'm so glad that you were able to share those, not only with me and not only with the fans, but anyone that gets to watch this video. If you're there and you're watching this now, what you're seeing, that's a piece of history that you have right there, brother. I mean, there's not every day that somebody will come across a cast like that will show the different layers of the toes going down.
It actually shows actual movement.
Right.
It's movement trapped in plaster.
Right. And I don't think anybody with NBA players, Shaquille O'Neal, even those guys.
Oh, no.
Their foot's not even half that wide.
No, this foot is so, oh my God, this foot is so wide.
Well, yeah, every time I look at the foot, all I can keep thinking is the
Huge.
the enormity of this creature. I mean, you'd have to just look up almost in awe, like you'd just be frozen.
So I've talked to a gentleman. He lives in the area. He has 7 siblings that live either in or close to the area. And he was telling me, he told me a span of 4 years of stories.
Oh wow!
From his nephew hog hunting with his dogs, came right up on one. It turned around. It screamed at him. His dogs kicked rocks, took off.
Mhm.
It took off. He wound up back at his vehicle calling his dad in tears to come pick him up because he didn't know what was going on.
Wow!
I mean, it's just that area is hot. I don't. Now, here's what's funny is when you have a group and there's more than one admin, we have different opinions, of course.
Sure.
Personally, I think they're just kind of traveling through. It's a stop and go place.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's plenty of food, dude. There's deer everywhere.
Mhm.
There's not been one time I've gone out there and not seen a deer,
Right.
for the most part. Raccoons. I mean, when they walk down this creek, it's like a game super highway,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is another thing. If they leave a track in a matter of 3 or 4 days, those tracks are gone because raccoons, hogs, boom,
Right.
boom, boom. They just trample it all down
Right.
to nothing.
So that's,
So-
I mean, if there's any sign of intelligence, that right there is smart. They know if we track this area, they'll be gone. So follow the path of the animals.
Yeah. And not only that, but if we're seeing them,
Mhm.
they're fresh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're within days.
They're fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing, brother. So are you planning any other trips out there?
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
Soon?
Yeah, we're definitely going back out there and then into another area that we're very, man, it's like we're right on their heels. I don't know. It's so frustrating.
Right. Now, have any of you guys, and it's probably a stupid question, trail cams? Has anyone
Yes,
done
I was just gonna say that. So after this trip, when we had the 11 set of tracks, oh, we didn't even have enough plaster. I mean, I've got 2 here, plus I've got the other one. That's Brian's, the one from June.
Mhm.
Tim, Dustin, Bill, Brian, they all have other ones from that same trip. We ran out of plaster,
Oh wow.
essentially. Yeah, we go out there all the time. That's one of our places. That's stop 1, but now we have a stop 2,
Okay.
and that's exciting.
All right.
Another thing I wanted to say, when we were out there with the first initial 16-inch tracks, me and Brian went way down the creek. We got to this area that I just felt an overwhelming feeling of anxiety to where my heart was going to beat out of my chest. I don't ever feel that ever. I grew up skateboarding, had a half pipe, did handrails, stairs, all that stuff. I'm not really scared of anything.
Right.
That was, it's almost like a primal, I don't know what it was, but all I said was, I think I need to get out of here for a little bit, and kind of headed back, and it just kind of went away. I don't know if we were close to something. I don't know, but
Yeah, man. I don't know. I had an Uncle Cletus top 5 on Bigfoot theories, or and it was fun. I had a blast with that. But what you're talking about, I did come across in some research where people would feel anxiety before they would hear a call, a whoop, maybe a break or a rock or something being thrown at them, where they got overwhelmed with a sense of anxiety. And there are people out there that believe that they have telepathic powers, or you can use telepathy, but not in a way where they're communicating with us,
yeah,
talking, but like what you just said, where they can overcome you with or make you feel overcome with anxiety, fear, anticipation. Like, okay, we do not need to be in this area right now. And it's kind of like some animals let off a pheromone to other animals, and they know not to go into that area. So that's their way of saying back off. And I'm not saying that I subscribe to that actual theory, but it is out there, and there are lots of studies on it. So I mean, and we don't know because what? We have never had one. No one's ever
I know.
got one to study, or, and that's sad to say it that way. But so everything is just theory. And and you really don't want to discount anyone, because at this time and point, especially now, sightings are more frequent now more than ever. And not just sightings, the cats that you're coming across, hares, on and on. And just like with UFOs and things of that sort, is the veil a little thinner now? And are we able, is our perception a little stronger? Are our eyes open a little wider, so we're all able to see these things now? And, how long will they be able to stay hidden? And what do you think on that? Do you think that we're ever going to come across one?
I think so. And I think that like all these theories and all this speculation, if you just think about maybe if 1% of it is true, and kind of like build on that a little bit, not say, oh yeah, they're interdimensional and mind speak. And because I think they're more of a natural kind of blood pumping, animal, or a relic hominid, or I don't know, because I haven't seen one. What's funny is Western Oklahoma, we get tracks. Eastern Oklahoma, we get rocks thrown at us. You got the wood knocks. We've got audio. If you go to our page, we have, it's called the Old Well audio. It will raise the hair on the back of your neck. It will. You've got one big well, you've got something responding, and then it stops, and then it's like every coyote in the woods just goes berserk around it. And we're actually planning a trip on out there about that time that was recorded this year, in the fall.
Right.
So we've got that. It's like I'm spread out all over Oklahoma.
Right, that's good.
Which is fine with me. We've had Tim. He got hit in the back of the neck, kind of where the head meets the neck part with a rock after something came through our camp about 3:30 in the morning. Lifted up the grill.
Oh wow!
Was walking around. I thought it was one of the guys. We all thought the same thing. Oh, it's one of the guys.
Yeah, somebody's
until the dog alarmed us, and we're like, okay, that's not a guy. And we all got out. But out there, it's so rocky. Tracks. That's why we always hit the waterways out there.
Sure.
Canoes, kayaks.
Sure.
You can cover miles of bank and find all kinds of animals. And
now, what's the furthest north that you've been investigating yourself?
Oklahoma, man. That's Oklahoma? It. I haven't gone beyond that. No. Okay. A week from Friday, I'm going east.
Okay, where are you going there?
So I'm going to a property. So this is part of our SBA Alliance, Southern Bigfoot Alliance investigations.
Okay.
We get hit up all the time, all three of us, from different people, private messaging us, hey, you should come check out our property.
Sure.
Depending on the location. Had a person hit me up. I got a hold of them. They've had their property since 1897. It's been 1896 has been in their family. So their grandpa. It backs up to the national forest.
Wow.
It's I know it's over 100 acres. I know for sure there's been 3 generations that have seen Bigfoot out there. They said their grandpa never said anything about it, but they're like, how could he not see these things on our property?
Sure.
One of the kids, when he was 12, saw one. This is crazy because I just heard this last week because I spoke to the person because we're trying to really, solidify this before we go out there. There was a flood and they were clearing, deadfall or whatnot from the flood. And the kid at the time was 12. He's 17 now. And I hope I get to talk to him. I'm pretty sure I will get to. saw, this is crazy, saw a Bigfoot. He said it was a big monkey, and it was dragging 5 deer tied to one another into the woods.
Wow.
Never heard of that before in my life,
Okay.
ever.
Wow.
And they've seen red ones, brownish ones, I think a grayish one, throughout the generations. So like this person's father, this person, and their kid has seen one out there on the property.
Wow.
So we get to go out there. We get to spend the weekend out there. It's not only that, but there's other things that go on out there too, like lights. And they're talking about 4 lights that were 80 yards apart each, and they were floating over the trees. I'm like, that's kind of, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah.
It almost reminds me of you ever heard of Chestnut Ridge or Skinwalker Ranch?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it kind of reminds me of like a tinier version of what's going on out in those 2 places in this little place in Arkansas. So I don't know what we're gonna run into, but I'm pumped.
Arkansas has a huge paranormal history, brother, and I put Bigfoot in there with paranormal. All cryptids, Chupacabra, Dogman. Oh man, that's gonna be. You guys are gonna have a great time, man.
And it's October.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect time, man.
Oh my gosh!
Just don't get abducted.
Well, there's quite a few of us going, so
right.
Hopefully that'll. Oh, and one more thing that they told me. This was crazy. So I guess there's a prison nearby. A gentleman escaped, went into the woods, right? Couldn't find this guy. He came back, banging on the door. Let me in, let me in. You gotta let me in. Because there's these blue lizard things that are chasing me in the woods. And I went back in, he wanted back into prison. And I'm like, what is going on out there? What is it? What is going on?
So we got blue lizards. We've got orbs,
lights,
Sasquatch.
Yeah, what is it? What is up?
Be safe. Make sure you're carrying.
Always. Yeah. Oh, always.
Maybe bring some holy water, a crossbow. I'm trying to go down my mind. Everything we're gonna need here.
I know.
A copy of the sand scripts.
A lot of me, I'm so excited to go, but then I've been watching like all these things on Skinwalker Ranch and for the last month, and I'm like, do I really want to go out there?
If it has anything, if it's even remotely anything like Skinwalker Ranch, dude, you guys are in for a doozy of a weekend.
And they don't have any neighbors, not anywhere close. So, what were they telling me? A lot of their lawn furniture and stuff like that outside gets moved way out into the woods.
Oh wow.
Stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pumped.
Well, man, after you guys get done with that, I'd love to have you back on and hear all about
that,
man. But hey, I think we're getting to that point of the show, man. I run everyone. It's called the Gauntlet of 5. And I'll ask you 5 questions. They're all yes or no. And then when we're done, you can elaborate on any of them. The first one's going to be kind of a no-brainer. And I ask every guest, whether they're into the paranormal field or whether you're a director like David Ford or, whatever you do. So I don't change the questions, and I'm going to stick to them. And if you want to elaborate after we run the gauntlet, you're more than welcome to. But it starts out like the first one I'll ask you on the Gauntlet of 5. 1, do you believe there is a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Number 2, do you believe that there is or at one time was mythical type creatures on Earth, such as possibly centaur, mermaids, dogmen, things of that sort, other than the regular Bigfoot?
I want to say yes.
Okay. All right. 3, have we been to the moon?
Whoa, that's like the question of forever. I have a feeling I want to say yes. I want to say yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You're
Yeah,
fine. All
I
right.
want to
Yes.
say yes.
All right. Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I do. I believe there's something up there.
Okay. All right. And our last one right here in the Gauntlet of 5. Do you believe that the Earth is round, flat, or as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, pear-shaped?
I'm gonna say it's round.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And there we go, folks. Shane Church running the Gauntlet of 5. Do you want to elaborate on any of the 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the Bigfoot thing, I say yes. I'm gonna say I'm 95% sure, because that extra 5% is me actually seeing one.
Okay.
I've experienced too much not to not say no. That doesn't not exist.
Well, man, you added to my percent with those castings tonight. So
Yeah, these people, get off the couch, quit watching Animal Planet, go out in the woods and do it for 18 months.
Yeah.
On it every month, and really dig deep.
Right.
You're gonna uncover stuff.
Right.
What was the next question? Mythical creatures.
Mythical creatures.
It's in a lot of culture. It's in a lot of art. It's in a lot of maybe the mermaid was an abnormality of a fish or something crazy that we don't see anymore.
Right.
I don't know.
Sure.
So I think myth definitely has truth in it.
Absolutely. Sure. I believe that as well. Here's what I feel. The further you go back, the more substance artwork and writing has, because they only wrote and drew what they saw physically. So if we're, and the same with the natives and the Indian tribes, they only drew and spoke on what they would see.
Yeah, because you've got like a tribe over here knitting these big beings in their baskets.
Mm-hmm.
You got this tribe way over here drawing cave drawings of these huge beings.
Mm-hmm.
You've got masks being. I mean, it's not like they all communicate. Like pick up, hey,
right.
big stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
We're pushing that. We're pushing that this month.
Right, right, exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then so what was the third question was the moon?
Yeah, have we been to the moon?
Okay, so as far as that goes, I'm like, yes, but then I'll start hearing stuff or watching something. I'm kind of like, huh? And I'm kind of like, I don't know. And then I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's like a teeter-totter.
It is, because, I'm a little older than you. And I grew up, and those were my idols, man. We went to the moon. That was something to be proud of, being American. And then now NASA's saying, oh, well, we lost all the data and we don't know how to get back. And, we've got to try and figure out how to get through the radiation. So, there's just so many things there that make you go, oh, man, did they lie to us? And you don't want to think that, because you don't,
because it's so disappointing.
Yeah, you just want to be like, come on, man, I know we did it. Yeah. And then aliens.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Okay, so there are things flying in the sky that are making maneuvers and going at speeds and doing stuff that we just still haven't made yet.
Yeah.
We just haven't made that stuff yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Russia's made it. I don't think anyone's made that stuff.
Sure.
Because if Russia, if a country made that and they wanted to destroy this, we would be gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I want to say, I think the closest that we ever come to any type of craft like that was the Nazis, when they had the bell-shaped deals. And I think that they might have had help, whether it was through seance or aliens or something. They were way ahead of everybody else technology-wise. And, if we had invaded over there to stop them just 2 years later, man, it might be a different story on Earth.
It could be. And you see all these videos of lights dancing, moving, and doing all these weird kinds of things, like all over the world. It's just
or at least like a 90, like it's going so fast, and then it just stops in a dime and goes this way.
Yeah,
90-degree turn.
Yeah,
it's wild, man. It's amazing.
Where were you on that one, Maverick and Top Gun? You know what I mean? We're not doing that.
Yeah, no, yeah. We're not Tom Cruise, man.
Not even the last starfighter was doing that stuff back in the 80s.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're aging us.
I know, right?
And then the last one, obviously, is glob or flat or pear-shaped.
I just think it's a round Earth, and we're
you.
rotating on an axis, and there's the sun, and we see.
Yeah,
know,
I'm with you, brother. I mean,
man.
here's what I am. I mean, until. And I don't know. And I really, at the end of the day, I don't lose sleep about it. But until someone can prove we're flat, pear, apple, the shape of an arrow, all I know is we live on Earth, and let's make the best of it.
I hear that.
So, all right,
Definitely.
awesome, man. So there was a little bit more info from the Gauntlet of 5 with Shane.
I like that. I like the Gauntlet of 5.
Yeah. Everyone that comes on the show, I'll ask them.
Cool.
Yeah, it definitely is, man, because everybody has different responses, and it's just something fun to do. And with that said, is there anything you would like to let people know where you're going to be, or any way to contact the SBA if they want?
Yeah, definitely come and join Southern Bigfoot Alliance. We're on Facebook. We're private. If you're not a baby killing Nazi, we're definitely going to let you in. We're pretty good with updating our page. It's been kind of neutral right now, but we're fixing to ramp up because this whole SBA investigations thing is blowing up.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to start doing a lot more with that. We didn't do this year, but next year we're going to do the SBA kids camp thing that we usually do.
Okay, yeah.
Where the kids come out and they cast their own tracks and
That'll be
run around
awesome,
with their own
man.
headlamp. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Last year it was amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
we're definitely going to do that. That's going to come up. And yeah, just come and join us. We need more boots on the ground. We need more people we can trust. We're a very trusting group. We're a good group of people, good folk.
I can validate, man. You guys have a lot of good people there. I've talked with several, Joe Julian. Joe's a great guy. We've talked numerous times. And I know several other guys over there, Gary and a few others. And
yeah, the last 2 years, I've met a lot of really good people. Like, it's just been amazing to really meet all these great people.
Well, when people, when you have common interests and, you have a goal together, it brings people together. You kind of unite and, common interests, common goals, and you become friends. And next thing you know, 40 years from now, we're drinking beers, talking about looking for Sasquatch.
Yeah, remember that time. That kind of stuff.
I hear you.
For sure.
Well, look, man, time's flown by tonight. I like to keep it right around that hour mark.
Okay.
I loved having you on, Shane. You're brilliant.
Thanks, man.
You're a smart dude. You're you've been genuine with me from day one, since the day that I've met you. And I really believe and always am there to support the SBA. And
thank you.
Yeah, all the time, man. I try and pop in there 3-4 times a week. And I stay busy. I know you stay busy. We both work full time, and we're trying to chase our passions at the same time. So
yeah,
it's rough, man. It's burning the candle at both ends.
Oh man, too many pokers in the fire.
That's the only way to live, though, man. It gives you purpose.
Oh man.
But
also, if anybody wants any kind of logos or branding development,
that's right.
I'm a graphic artist. I illustrate. I do digital video editing.
That's right. And I'll throw up. It's church art. I'll throw up
church art.
A little video at the end of this tonight after we close out. And
you need some help with that? I'm reasonable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'll give you some quality stuff.
Absolutely, man. I mean, just check his portfolio out, guys. I'll list the portfolio up here for you.
Oh, thanks.
And, I'll let them go and check it out. And, like I said, he's the guy that came up with the new Uncle Cletus, man. So,
Uncle Cletus is awesome.
Yeah, people love him, man. His sweatshirts and hats are already selling hot. So.
What? That's cool.
Yeah. I was shocked, man, but yeah, he's got a cult following with it. It's slowly building.
Uncle Cletus.
Good old Uncle Cletus.
The moonshiner.
Yeah. So when you guys get back and you get settled, man, I want to have you on again, and we want to talk about this Arkansas trip, brother.
Yeah, because
So,
I think there's going to be something in this.
oh, I know that. I can feel it already. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah, I hear you. Well, folks, with that said, hopefully you enjoyed tonight. You got to see a little bit of history that Shane showed us with those casts. And, you know, we'll get him back on and we'll talk about everything that he sees in Little Rock. As long as he comes back and doesn't get abducted. So, with that said, God bless, stay safe, and have a wonderful night, guys.